What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. Hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Dysentery, entitled Fragments. This is released on Comatose Music. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Waltham, Massachusetts, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very heavy, crushing, beat-down influenced style of brutal death metal. Yeah. My first introduction to this band was their 2004 split with the band Gutrot entitled Excruciatingly Euphoric Torment. Now, I consider that split to be one of the very best brutal death metal splits of all time. Both bands delivered incredible performances. I personally loved Gutrot's side a lot more, but Dysentery's side sounded just as devastating. Really ugly vocals, down-tuned guitar playing, awesome drumming, just a really natural, old-school brutal death metal approach to their sound. But ever since that release came out, this band has been slowly fine-tuning their craft as of lately, and that's resulted in two really awesome full-length albums. 2008's From Past Suffering Comes New Flesh, and 2011's Internal Devastation. This band began to get more up with the times with their sound, having a more heavy sort of hardcore influence into their riffing. And that, of course, leads to some really incredible slammy breakdowns. I would consider a band like Dysentery to be highly influential in the modern era of brutal death metal when it comes to heavy slams and breakdowns. A lot of bands that get influenced by this style of music, I would consider Dysentery to be a very big deal in that sort of department. And of course, ever since those releases, this band has been continuously busy playing live shows. Of course, their guitarist Blue playing in other really amazing bands like Excrement and Parasitic Extirpation. And now we fast forward to 2015. There's been a bit of a shakeup in this band. We have a new bassist, we have a new vocalist, and it only made me wonder how this new material was going to sound. And now here we are with their third full-length entitled Fragments. It's 13 tracks, and it clocks in at around 32 minutes in length, and pretty much this is them continuing on in the same sort of warpath they've been doing on their previous records. Although you can easily tell that this band is maturing a little bit and getting a lot better sounding with time. And of course, with better sounds comes better song structuring. And I really appreciate what's being represented here on Fragments. And if you're accustomed to what this band is sounding like, you're going to feel very comfortable getting right into the mix of Fragments. This is one of those all-killer, no-filler sort of bands. They get the job done without having to drag things on too long, and I really appreciate what is being done on this record. Of course, what stands out more than anything is Blue's guitar playing. I really love the way he handles the riff work on here. Just the tone, the power, the delivery of everything. It's really amazing. I mean, on songs like Led to Terminal Ignorance and Grave Evolution, you just get some really nasty, heavy as fuck guitar riffs. I really appreciate what's being represented on those songs. And then later on to tracks like Reflection of Repugnance and Neurological Snare. It's just really awesome. It's heavy, it's brutal, it's catchy. Really insane guitar work being represented on here. Very old school to the T. The bass work here is very good too. Very audible, very clear, nicely done. I really appreciate the way that this album sounds. I think it has a really good mix and mastering job going for it. It keeps every instrument in check to make sure everything sounds really well here. Guitar work is pretty much the dominant factor here, but the bass work here is very good too. Drum-wise, I love this drummer. This guy knows exactly how to deliver a brutal death metal drum performance, and he does so with great ease and class. I love the double bass on here. I love the fast parts. I hear a little bit of gravity blasting in certain instances. I don't know what I want to say on the track Grave Evolution I hear a little bit of that, but there's a little bit of everything sprinkled near, far, and in between on this record. And not to mention, I say that this band is very influential when it comes to their slamming and breakdown sort of parts. There are a ton of them to be heard on here. And of course, breakdowns may or may not be to everybody's liking, but for a band like Dysentery, they pull it off perfectly. Everything is very well timed, everything is very well structured. I love the way that it sounds here, and it just sounds so very heavy. They are a band to pull off this sort of music style perfectly, and I think it really is awesome. This is pretty much pit riffment at its absolute finest. And when it comes to the vocals, I really like this new guy. He has some pretty seasoned sort of chops going on for him. He did some live vocal work for an Australian band called Odious Imbel, and he has a really awesome brutal death metal band out of New York called Tentacles. He's a really good singer for that band. But as far as his work on Dysentery is concerned, I think he does a very formidable job stepping up to replace the new singer. It's a mostly low sort of guttural tone all the way throughout. It's very well worded, very understandable, even to where it gets even lower than that. There's a little bit of a mixture of highs going on in certain instances. I would have loved to hear more emphasis on highs because I think he sounds really good when he does some high growls and screams going on. But more than anything, this is an album dominated by a low guttural sort of tone, and I think he does a very fine job doing that sort of vocal style justice. So overall, if you're a fan of what Dysentery has put out previously, I would think that this is them evolving further into their sound. I really think Fragments is a very well thought out piece of brutal death metal. I love the slammy breakdown parts, I love the riffs, I love the vocal work, and not to mention the really awesome artwork by Marco Hassman. It's a really awesome album cover, and yeah, Dysentery are back up and running and ready to kick some butt. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Led to Terminal Ignorance, Grave Evolution, Reflection of Repugnance, Neurological Snare, and the track Divinity from the Void. Just some really amazing stuff. So I'm going to leave you some links in the description box so you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the song Led to Terminal Ignorance, which is streaming on Slam Worldwide's YouTube channel. Definitely listen to that if you're interested. And also I will link you to where you can purchase physical copies. You can buy it directly through Comatose Music for $10, and I will also link you to direct band support, where you can purchase this CD direct through the band, and there are also t-shirt and many other available combo bundle deals to take advantage of. This band will be consistently playing live and doing brief touring, and they will be playing the 5th edition of Building Temples from Deathfest in September alongside bands like Dehumanized, Sick, Waco Jesus, Soils of Fate, and many, many more. So if you're in the Houston area for that, I will hope you make it out to that, and I certainly will be looking forward to seeing these guys live again. They kick ass live. So again, the album is Fragments by Dysentery. This is released on Comatose Music. Check this out, and for a score, I'm going to give this a very strong 8.5 out of 10. Very proper slam done by a proper band of this style. So support Dysentery. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for joining my channel, and until the next time, Armijo out.